Hi, Linda here from ThoughtChange.com. Last episode, I had a fascinating conversation with Dr. Q from the Indian Palm Leaf Reading Institute, who shared the ancient art of Nadi reading with us. It's amazing to consider that thousands of years ago, Hindu sages downloaded soul information for individuals in the future and had it transcribed for the perfect time and the perfect place. Each leaf is a guide to create a better trajectory, and it covers all aspects of life, the past, the present, and the future, which is not set in stone. The readings include karma and remedies to live the best life possible. If you enjoy our conversations, please remember to subscribe and share with a friend. And check out our first episode on Indian palm leaf reading. I'll pop the link in the show notes for easy access. Now, let's continue the conversation with Dr. Q.
Welcome to Exploring the Mystical Side of Life with your host, Linda Lang.
It really is mind-boggling that thousands of years ago, some enlightened being took a snapshot of your life and wrote it down for that perfect moment when it can impact you the most. It's incredible.
It is.
So my question to you is, we do have free will.
Yes.
We get a reading, we have an understanding of what's on our leaf, what's going to happen. If we have some kind of negative karma or some karmic block to release and we do the puja, does that mean everything else on the leaf is no longer in effect, our possible future, or does that leaf reflect our life having done the puja?
No. So what happens is the reader looks at your leaf, again, one more time, based on three aspects: your energies at the time of the reading, your thumbprint name, that's the only constant in your life, which we'll explain to you. That in itself is a science to find your category name in your thumbprint, decode it, and then each term in your thumbprint name has a deep meaning. I'm currently writing a book about this, a more technical book containing a lot of information about a lot of things. The pujas is a science in itself, because you could also be prescribed a puja in India to be done by priest, as opposed to your own pujas that are called temple pujas that you need to perform. And then thirdly, it's based on Vedic astrology, on the stars and planets. So he looks at your leaf on that day, Nadi reading, not a day before, not a day later, and will give you a possible life trajectory, a likely one, based on those aspects on that day. So it gives you a snapshot, boom, this is your possible future. Do you like it or not? Because it's not sugar-coated. Some people get a lot of blocks and they get very upset. Oh, this was so negative. I said, my friend, embrace it. Do you think a reading will tell you you're a wonderful soul, you do great things in life, you will be a great teacher and healer in the future, if for the past 50 years your life was crap? You were maybe drinking too much, abusing your wife, or whatever that was. The reading is not going to change it. It's going to show you this is, boom, looking in the future. That's how it looks from today's point of view. Our life, no one's life is linear. It's not. It's way too complex. Hence, your life is not set in stone. But it gives you an outlook, and it identifies blocks. So if you already come with a lot of blocks, well, of course, he will identify a lot of blocks in your reading. Now, the good news is you know now about the blocks, and it gives you a tool to fix them, because in my own belief system too, before I even got introduced to this, I'm a true believer that we can become better humans, period. Doesn't matter how we started our lives. We all have challenges in life, me too. Mine come in the shape and form of having to deal with having been born with a golden spoon in my mouth and then becoming poor. And then my health challenges after that, being exposed to the nuclear fallout. A challenge is a challenge. We all have challenges. Some of them are big and some of them are not so big. That doesn't distinguish us. What distinguishes us as humans is how you overcome them. That is what makes you a beautiful soul, How do you deal with a challenge and a block? Will you become a better person after that, or more miserable and negative? And that is what a reading is meant for you to embrace. These are the blocks that you have. Work on them, and eventually your life trajectory will become better and everything else will disappear or change, because life is so complex every single day. You start changing one puzzle in it from the get-go, the rest will change fast. So yes, you can have many readings in your life. I had 2 readings myself so far, but I've had people who had 6 readings in their lifetimes already or more.
Why would you want more than one reading?
Well, because in my first reading, so that you understand, my own motivation was just my health issues, my karma. So the reader looks at it, and he, at that time, he says, oh, 77 to 79, again, it's not sugar-coated, you have a heart attack and die. It's in the leaf. But he said it's karma related. Again, I was blown away. I did not tell him that I was just released from the ICU where I could have died, and I'm getting a reading to not be in hospital again. I did not tell him my heart issues, and he has no clue that I have heart issues. And yet he tells me, you have a heart attack and die. I was blown away by the accuracy of it, because if you ask me personally, how do you think you're going to die yourself? I would say heart attack is one of the top 3. The chemotherapy, the radiation, the virus that impacted my heart. I have a weak heart. I look after myself very well. I do sports and meditate, and I don't look it because I'm very fit. But internally, I got challenges. So I was blown away by that. But he said it's karmic, and he gave me a long puja set to help me overcome it. And I took my pujas very seriously, I'm telling you, and I travel a lot. So don't have travel be an excuse, because it's just an excuse. I travel 200 to 250 days a year. That's more than anyone else I know, by far. And I did every single puja, the meditation part, in a hotel room, having the picture. I bought flowers in that's, in Prague or Budapest or I don't know, wherever I was. In the US, I buy flowers. I created a little temple for myself in my hotel room. I brought my tea lights with me, and I went deep down and I did that meditation, the mantra, because I do not want to be in hospital. I had 1,000 needles in my veins. This left arm is shot. You cannot put anything in there anymore because the veins are dead. And the reader at the time said, oh, and you're going to bring this to the West. And I thought he's kidding me, because I'm a white guy, I have nothing to do with it. And yet, my enthusiasm, as I'm enthusiastic here today too with you, I've done it for 10 years now, and I'm still as enthusiastic about it as I was in day one. And one more time, I do this out of the goodness of my heart, if you wish, as a puja, a lifelong puja. I don't make any money with this. I have a real job outside of what I do here. I just want you to have a better life, and hopefully for the tiny little bit that I can help in making humanity better. 4 years after that, I started the Institute. So because it got bigger and bigger, and I realized, oh my God, this is not just me helping a bunch of people, because I'm now helping a friend of a friend of a friend I've never heard of before. So we put it into legal structure. We're based in the United States. And we now are in our 8th year within the legal framework that we're doing this. So at the time when I had my second reading, I already had that framework up and running. So the second reading is a different Maharishi who wrote it, a different reader who read it to me. So I remember very well, I was sitting across from him, and this reader, Guruji, is now our head reader, and he works for me for the Institute. He looks at the leaf, looks at me, looks at the leaf, and he's just baffled, because he's about to say something that he never said in his life or never thought possible. He looks at the leaf and looks at me and said, are you doing this? That's what he said. Are you doing this? Blew my mind. In my first reading, the first reader said, you're going to bring this to the West. And I thought he's kidding me. In my second reading, it was in my leaf that I'm doing this. Not me personally, but I created an institute to provide the service to mankind. Blew my mind. The second reading was more out of curiosity, because I wanted to see if there is any change. It's still me, that doesn't change. But the trajectory has big time changed. Now it's in the leaf already that I am doing this. Mind blowing. And at the end, he said, oh, it's 82 plus. He said, you have the gift of longevity. I cannot see the time frame where you're passing on. So you can go. Would I go for a third reading? Maybe, yes. I'm at the moment so busy with doing what I'm doing. But do I have the calling for a third reading at some point? Yes, of course, because I want to see how am I doing as a human. I just want to be a better human. That's it. In my reading, the one thing that I took the most serious, I should say, is this is my last life. That's it. As a last lifer, and by the way, only older souls have a reading. Young souls are too young to get a reading. So only old souls have a lead. Either you're in your second last or your last life, or if you're stupid enough to come back, we call those light workers and time travelers. You're already done. You've already reached moksha, and you were stupid enough to come back to help humanity. And we had a few of those in the time span of our institute, not very many, 5 or 6. And their lives are not necessarily wonderful. They're sometimes very challenging. And the one that I can openly talk about, because he gave permission, his name is Reverend Bill McDonald. He lives outside of Sacramento. He is on our YouTube channel. His entire reading is on our YouTube channel. He's a big supporter of what we do. He's a light traveler. He's a light worker. He's a time traveler. He already reached moksha and came back. And it's in your leaf too. In my leaf, in both of my leaves, I was told it's your last life, which means after that, I can reach moksha, which means liberation. Different to enlightenment. Enlightenment is something you achieve this lifetime as in your incarnation. Now, moksha, liberation, is you're done. You're connected with the eternal source again. You can lay out on the beach, sip your pina colada, and enjoy the rest of the time in paradise if you wish. But as a last lifer, you have a lifelong puja remedy. That means you need to be of help and service to others. I take it seriously. I really don't know I want to come back because I'm not a big human fan, to be honest with you. What we do as humans is mind-boggling. I just want to be done. I want to do as best as I can. And that's everyone. That's all that we as individuals can do. Just be kind and help others as best as we can. And if all of us did that, oh my God, this would be paradise. So I do this because of that. So your question was, can you do another reading? Of course. You want to know how you've evolved, your trajectory should be better in your second reading, of course. And in your third reading, it should be even better than that. Because if it's not as good as your first reading, then you did something very wrong. You took a wrong turn, which again, you did because of your own free will. Nobody forced you with a gun against your head saying you must. No, we just showed you the water. You choose not to.
I think the whole thing is fascinating. I cannot wait to get my reading.
We're currently searching for your bundles. I know it takes time, so we're going to be a little patient. But once you've had your own experience, and I shall be the moderator for you too, of course. We have several moderators. I cannot split myself. It's impossible. We have way too many readings for that. But I train every moderator, and each one of them is in it with their hearts, and they're here to help humanity and every single seeker. But in your case, because I know that we want to have a follow-up show, I will be your moderator so I can remember things from the reading. By the way, every reading is personal and private. We destroy all recordings afterwards. We send it to you. You download the recording of your reading. We use chat history a lot in Zoom, so type it out for you so that you have a better understanding. We take a picture of your leaf. We transliterate your mantras into English and send you the whole thing. Once you have it, it's gone from our system. So you better download as soon as you get it from us, because there is only a 30-day window to click on the link and download. If you don't do it within those 30 days, it means you really don't care. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? You've done a reading, not you personally. I'm just talking to people outside, because sometimes I get an email 6 months later saying, oh, I didn't download. I said, my dear, we sent you 10,000 reminders, told you it's urgent, told you the link is only valid for a certain period, because we don't have the capacity to begin with, because each one of these files is several gigs big and we have thousands of readings. So once you download it, you can start your puja journey yourself and you have all the forms, and then it's gone from my system, finished. So all the readings are private and personal, but several kind souls from the get-go or after they had the reading said, oh my God, I want to share my experience with the world. I'm happy for you to put it on your YouTube channel, the whole thing, not sugar-coated. And all of this started with Dr. Erica Mittermiss, so a shout out to her. Several years ago when she had her reading, I met her at the Conscious Life Expo in LA in February. Every February it happens, and I go there every year. And when she came to my booth and she heard me give the talk, because I give their talks too, and she said, oh my God, Dr. Q, that's phenomenal. You know what? I want to help humanity. Let's film it from the get-go, live, like just film it and put it on YouTube. She was the very first person to do so. And now she's an internet star, because we had tens of thousands of views of her reading. And when people then come to our YouTube channel and hear me talk, and see Dr. Eric. And now we had a dozen other people who said, oh, please put mine on YouTube too, because I want to share it with humanity. So now we have a 20-year-old kid, male, Dr. Erica in her 40s is a female, Reverend Bill in his 70s, the guy who runs the Monroe Institute in India, an Indian gentleman in Calcutta. So we have a whole gamut of male, female, young, middle-aged, more mature, so people can relate to them and see how the whole reading really pans out from the very first minute of the matching till the pujas are given to them and explained to them so that you know what to do.
What happens to a leaf once it's read? Because it's served its purpose, right?
It stays in the book, and the book is returned to the archive it was taken from. And then, believe it or not, at some point in the future, a total different person, let's call him Frank, in the year 2527, submits his thumbprint, and then the same leaf becomes Frank's leaf. The reader, though, knows when the journey of that leaf is finished, because some of them are done. There is no more incarnation. They have served their purpose. Then they're taken out of the bundle and given back to the universe in a water ceremony. Yes. But if that's not the case, they stay in the bundle to be the guidebook for another human at some point in the future.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's super wild. There's a lot of information behind all of this. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and to share this with your audience.
Where can we send people who'd like to know more?
Our website is indianpalmleafreading.com. It's super easy, indianpalmleafreading.com. Under the same name, Indian Palm Leaf Reading, Indian Palm Leaf Reading Institute, we have a big YouTube channel with a lot of different puja ceremonies that we do in India, readings, testimonials, you name it. Big Facebook page, Indian Palm Leaf Reading, with testimonials and all the rest of it. We're on Google, Google for Business, the same thing. Instagram, Indian Palm Leaf Reading. That is where you can find us. Then you can sign up online on the very first page. You said, I start the journey. You click on it. You submit your first and last name, your email address, and then that's how the journey starts. The cost will be $100 US dollars, because we're a US-based institute. The physical office is in India, but the rest is online. It's $100 US dollars for the search, for the bundle. You submit your thumbprint online. We will tell you how to do it. You upload it to our system. I pay for it good money to have a secure website to do so, because some people are worried about personal data. So you upload it to our system, hence you cannot send it as an attachment. It must be uploaded. And then the search starts. And only once we find bundles, and the average search time is 1 to 3 months, give or take, we will then send you the good news via email saying, congratulations, we found your bundles. And now you can pay for the reading, the matching, and the reading in one session. That will be $400 US dollars. So $100 for the search, $400 for the matching and the reading. And your contribution is highly appreciated, as every single reading helps me, helps the Institute, help others. I am supporting my Indians a lot. When I started this, I told them, I'll make sure that you can do this for the rest of your lives. You will not lose you, because India has changed a lot. They go up north, become IT experts or call center, you name it. India is a different world today. And we've lost some very good readers because of that. They don't make enough money. So now we, the Institute, triple, quadruple pays, a lot more to make sure they can support their families, wives and kids. And the interpreters, which we have 2 in the office in India, their wives and kids, and the moderators, the Western moderators, and the videographers, and all the rest of them. So you're supporting that. Plus, now that we have become, bigger and bigger, we started to support the local orphanage, which is the one thing that I'm very happy and proud of, because we found this husband and wife orphanage run by a husband and wife. They live in the orphanage, and they have 17 in-house supporters, 17 ladies who live with the orphans and the elderly, and they are in part severely mentally and physically disabled. And when I came across them a few years ago, I lost my heart to them, if you wish, and I promised them that this Institute will support them every month. So you can make a donation too, to the Indian team, to the orphanage. You can rest assured that it all is distributed accordingly. And every year, of course, I go to India a lot. The one thing that the kids want is, believe it or not, chocolate. So I buy a whole suitcase full of chocolate, and every time we go back, we bring them European chocolates, which blows their minds. So thank you for your trust and support out there, for believing in this, for making this possible. You are a beneficiary, of course, by getting the reading, but at the same time, you help others, and that is a beautiful thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you for being my guest, Dr. Q.
It's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you very much, Nina, for having me on your podcast. Thank you. Namaste.
You are welcome. And thank you for listening to this week's edition of Exploring the Mystical Side of Life. You will find all of our conversations on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Come visit me at thoughtchange.com, pick up your copy of Learning to Listen, and let's create a little bit of magic in your life. That's it for this week. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.